Okay, so Hero, what has been the scariest thing you've encountered in your life? So there was this one time where, um, I was back at home in Houston or in Pasadena, and something very strange had happened to me during the night of being in there in my room, and you know, it was really late in the morning, and I remember I couldn't go to sleep right away, but after a while of just laying there, I was finally able to, close my eyes and rest for the night. And, you know, out of nowhere, I thought I had waken up, and it turns out that my body was still in bed, and I knew my eyes were still closed. And at that moment, I realized that I was awake, but deep down, I was asleep or I was locked. I don't know what it was, but for some reason, I couldn't open my eyes, I couldn't move my body, and I was just frozen. I felt like I was just stuck in my bed under the sheets. And, out of nowhere, after frantically panicking in my body, I guess you can say, next thing you knew, I was standing up and I was able to walk around my room, and I was able to um, see like everything around me. And as I was turning around in place, I looked towards my bed and I saw my body still in bed laying down. And at that moment, I was just very surprised, and I was like, how could this be happening to me at this moment? And I was just confused. I didn't know what to do, I didn't know what to think, but all I wanted to do was find a way to get back inside of my body. And you know after trying to like put my hands on my body, I guess trying to not really possess it, but I guess realign myself to where I am in there or whatever, um it just wasn't happening. I wasn't connecting, I wasn't going back into my body. And then next thing you know, or I know, I heard a laugh. Earlier, um, I was doing a little research, right? And look, coincidence?
Is that what he looks like?
Well, he looks a little bit different, but this is like what people have like seen. Like they've seen like legit like demons and whatever, and then people like legit see like the man in black, kind of.
I used to have these neighbors. They were they were really cool, first of all, but they kind of, I think sometimes they messed around with their paranormal. At least they told us that they did. But for the most part, like we we had a good relationship with them and stuff like that. And then they were like right next door, um, and we'd always go to each other's backyards because the hurricane, and I can't remember which one. I think it was the one in 2008. It knocked our fence down, so we could easily go to their backyard or each other's houses through our backyard. Um, so it was three of them and two of us, me and my sister, and then there was like three of them siblings. Um, and then their backyard had like a porch, so you had to walk up it, and then you would walk into the back door. And as soon as you walk into the back door, there was a fridge You would walk in, you face the side of it. So you go to your left, and that's where you'll be able to open the door and whatnot. And then you keep going, and that's the rest of the kitchen. And onto the dining room and the living room. And to your right, there was a stairway. It led up to some of the rooms upstairs. And that was the only way you can get up there, that stairway. Um, it was always dark in that stairwell because like there was no windows. So no matter what time of day it was dark.
And I turn, and in my room there's this hallway, and my door was open, kind of, and I hear or see this little boy, and he's just looking at me down the hallway, and I'm just staring at him like really confused, like who is this boy? And at the time, I do have a younger brother, but at that time he was like tall, and he was scrawny, and this little kid was, well, little and young, and I don't know what he wanted. So after I saw him and I turned back to my body, I was just okay. I gotta figure out how to get in there. And so I turned back around, and the kid was gone.
And so one of the sisters, um, the way I remember it at least, she went up the stairs. And then we turn on the light, and she's going up the stairs. And we're calling her name, like, hey, where are you going? This and that, blah, blah. We're supposed to go this way. We're going to watch a movie or something. And she just turned around, just kind of gave us like a look. And she just kept going upstairs.
And I was really confused, looking and seeing if he was still there. And when I turned back to my body, he was standing right next to my body as well. And he had this very strange grin on his face, as if he was like super excited about something. And he, took out his hand, and he reached over to my body, and on the bed, and he put his hand or arm into my arm, and he quickly lifted my arm, and then he dropped it, and he was laughing as if it was a joke. And I was just very confused because I was trying to do the same thing, if that makes sense, and my body wasn't interacting with me at all. And so after that, he just starts laughing and grinning. His grin gets bigger and bigger, and then I turn around, and there's this tall figure, and it's this man, and next thing you know, I realized it was the man in black himself. So apparently when you have sleep paralysis, you have, oh crap, we have like this thingy right here, look, right, with these like different, see, people have seen different, okay, ignore this part, but like people have like seen like this, like all of this stuff. So then I was thinking, see, but okay, and then look, he's wearing a top hat.
So it's common.
It is common. So I think I am not the only one that has experienced or have experiences with the man in black. So my question is, how common is this guy?
So we just turn off the light and we continue our way to the other room on the left side towards the kitchen. And there was another restroom around the corner of that same way. And she's like coming out of the restroom, like normal. Like she was just like, hey, where were y'all? I thought y'all were behind me. And then we were all kind of freaking out. Like, we saw you go upstairs. How did you get down here so fast? And she's like, I went straight. I walked in and I went straight towards the kitchen and towards the dining area. And we were all freaking out. Like, no, we saw you go towards the stairwell. We turned on the lights. We were calling your name. You just turned around and kept going. And then she could have sworn she went this way, and we could have sworn we saw her go the other way. And it just really freaked us out, and we never figured out what that was or what exactly happened. And there was like 3 other people there. I mean, well, there was a total of 5 of us, but I guess 4 of us saw one thing, but something else actually happened. if that makes sense. It was very, very creepy to witness a person be in two places at once, or somehow she moved really quickly. I don't know what it was, but it was very, very paranormal, I guess you can say.
And he was telling me that I had to figure out how to find a way to get back in my body, or else all these spirits were going to try to attempt to get in there. And so at first I was very confused because this sounded very familiar. Like, what's that movie? Like, Insidious. It was just strange how I low key made fun of that movie because I was like, there's no way that's real. Like, you're leaving your body and all these things were gonna try to get you and everything. But at this moment, it felt real. Like, there is proof in my eyes that there's this little boy messing with my body, and I realized that something like this is real and something could actually take over my body as well. But this little boy was different. He was just teasing me. And the man in black next to me was like, if you don't figure this out, you're going to be stuck where I'm at.
Oh, see, cause I kept thinking, I keep searching like Man in Black, right? And then a lot of the times, like the term like Man in Black, so I kind of like the movie, I guess, but like apparently there's an organization of Men in Black people, like secret agents and stuff like that, or maybe not even secret agents. Maybe there's just like a cult or something. I mean, I doubt it. See, people describe a frightening nighttime vision that paralyzes them to fear and seems to suck the breath out of them, often by pressing directly on chest, right? But see, in my dream, it wasn't like the man in black or the hat man or the man in black that was like threatening me, kind of. It was like a small child.
So it wasn't a man.
No, that's the thing. The child and the man in black were there, but the man in black was protecting me.
And at first, it didn't make sense to me when he said where I'm at. And then after a while, like, I just hear this little boy laughing and laughing and laughing. I'm like freaking out. I don't know what to do. And, next thing you know, I was like trying to put my hands on my body on there and nothing would happen. And then this little boy was back at the end of the hallway. He like left my side, I guess you can say. And then next thing you know, he's like running towards me, and he's running, running, running. And then he pushes me. And the next thing you know, I wake up and I'm back in my body and I'm looking around. And by that time, I was sweating. Like, I was covered in sweat. It was super hot. And I was just trying to like figure out what had happened to my body. And then that was it. The night went on and I went back to sleep. Well, not right away. Obviously, I was scared. But, I was very surprised that this was real, that this is something that could be happening. And the little boy and then the man in black was there again with me, trying to like help me get back to where I was supposed to be. So was it sleep paralysis? I don't know. Was someone trying to teach me a lesson? I don't know. Or was someone or something trying to take over my body? I I really don't know what it was, but I mean, that little boy and the man in black, obviously he had come back, but not as a threat or anything, but as like a warning or as a protector. In a way, he scared me back into my body, or at least he helped me. Well, he didn't really help me. He just helped me get back in there. So I don't know what it was exactly, but I do hope that it was for the best. I mean, I'm here telling this story, and after a while, I thought this man in black was gone, but now that I think about it, maybe he's here to stick around.
That's basically it. Was really shocking.
So when it comes to your neighbors, messing with, you said they mess with paranormal stuff. What exactly would they do?
I don't remember exactly because we were. I know they said we can make you not sleepwalk, like hypnotize. We never did it, but like their mom would always tell us stories of certain things and of when she hypnotized people, I think. And then like they would always just share stories of like their encounters with spirits and supposedly one time we met a spirit through one of them, but it was kind of sketchy. Like I didn't really want to believe it,
Mm-hmm.
but you know they went a long way to go for the story. Which I mean, a lot of the things I wasn't on board with it, but I know they did talk about a lot of their encounters with their spirits and stuff like that, and how they could somehow communicate with them.
Do you believe that the spirits that they did communicate with were evil, or not so evil, cooperative, manipulative, whatever?
Um, not. I don't think they were evil. Like they weren't trying to run anybody out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
But I think because maybe they did somehow reach something. Like there might have been, somewhat spirits lingering around, which is what we might have seen. But it wasn't nothing evil. Nothing evil ever happened to us and our family, even though we were just across. Or what I mean, because we were over there a good amount of the time, and nothing scary happened to us. That was the only experience that I can say myself I witnessed. That was too bizarre.
So, do you believe in the paranormal?
I do. I think if you call for it, it'll show up when you're calling for it. Like it'll show up. I think if you choose to avoid it, then it'll find you if it wants to find you, kind of thing. But if you're calling for it, it'll definitely be there.
All right.